What's up everyone, I'm Gushi and welcome to the channel. In this video we're going to be going over everything you need to know about the endgame of Tiny Tina's Wonderland. This includes how to level up as fast as possible, getting to that max level of 40, and then increasing your chaos rank all the way to 20. Before we start, if you found this video helpful, definitely check out our Tiny Tina playlist where we have builds and guides just like this. So while I've been playing the game, I've been trying to find the best way to level up. I've tried farming encounters because those are pretty quick. I've tried obelisks, but by far the fastest way is to honestly just get to endgame. So just finishing the storyline as fast as possible so you can unlock the castle and do the chaos chamber. Now the reason why this is the fastest way is because through the chaos chamber you can increase your chaos level, which then gives you an increase to XP, gold gained, and most importantly your loot luck so you can get those sweet legendaries. Now I did want to explain how the Chaos Chamber works because although I think this endgame is probably one of the best in the Borderlands series, there are some mechanics that have been changed and added that we should go over. Now once you get to the Chaos Chamber, there are several options that you can go through. One is a featured run. This one's probably the least important, so moving on. Next is a normal randomized run, but more importantly it gives you a 20% increase to crystals. We'll explain crystals in a bit, but just remember that this is pretty important. Next is an extended run. This is a longer randomized run, and again it has a plus 20% to crystal. Because runs are longer, we'll be getting more crystals, and the more crystals that we get, the more loot that we get. Finally, the last option is the chaos trial. If you beat this, then you increase your chaos level. Now the reason why crystals are so important for chaos runs is that once you complete a chaos run, you get access to this room where you have a loot chest in the middle, but more importantly on the sides, we have an option to turn in crystals for a specific gear of your choice. In this case, I'm going for an SMG. Each slot takes 500 crystals, which will give you a set amount of gear in that category. Now keep in mind that the crystals only last per chaos run, so once you exit this area, you will lose all your crystals. So don't forget to spend them all. Even if you don't have the 500 amount to get the max amount of loot, you can still turn them in for a lower rarity gear piece, which is still better than nothing. Now as you progress throughout a chaos run, there are different ways where you can increase the amount of crystals that you get, which there is a trade-off for the difficulty of the encounter. As you've seen in the gameplay, chaos runs are basically set amount of encounters which you have to complete, with the last fight being a boss fight against enemies that you encounter within the story, but with some mechanic changes. With these changes to the boss mechanics, it does make boss encounters different, which is kind of the main reason why I think this endgame is the best in the series. So what are these different ways that you can get more crystals? So as you complete each encounter, you'll always have two different options for portals for the next encounter. Currently there's a smaller orange loot chest, which basically gives you loot at the end of the encounter. Next you have a pink chest, which gives you more crystals at the end of the encounter. You have the Butt Stallion option, where Butt Stallion gives you an extra skill within your skill tree at the end of the encounter. And then finally we have the Dragon Knight, which will give you a permanent curse with different difficulty levels, which will last throughout the whole run. However, with these curses you will get an increase to the amount of crystals that you get, so this is the major trade-off that you're going to be making. Personally, since I'm grinding up, I never choose this option as my main goal is to get to chaos level 20 before grinding for crystals. Now adding these curses to your run definitely makes your runs longer and more difficult, but can also result in your death, which you only have 3 lives before you get kicked out of the run. Currently I have a very average build and I'm still grinding for gear, so I'm not crazy overpowered, resulting in some bosses being actually pretty hard. And if I'm in the boss fight with some crazy curses, I got this one where all enemies, if they get close, will attach a beam to you which does elemental damage. This can really ruin your run. So in my opinion, just choose the easier portals, which are first the crystal portal, just so you can get more crystals for the end of the run. Next is a Butt Stallion, just to get those extra perks and make runs faster. Then the orange chest, and then finally the Dragon Knight. Now as you progress through the chaos levels, at some point you're definitely going to realize that you need to do something with your build to make it stronger. And there's several ways that you can do this. One really awesome change to the endgame and the loot system in general is that you can re-roll enchantments on different gear pieces. Not only that, we can also add enchantments to gear pieces that don't have enchantments on them. This means that all pieces of gear that you get can be important if they have the right stats. Now to reroll these enchantments, it does cost moon orbs, with which each consecutive reroll will cost double the amount. So there is a limited amount of times you can reroll, and because you can only hold 4,000 moon orbs, I believe it's around 10 to 12 max rolls maybe, but I like to keep it around 6 just so I don't waste all my orbs for the possibility of a better roll. Now along with getting some good enchantments, you also want to be optimizing your skill tree, and you can do this by respeccing. One thing to keep in mind is that the cost of respeccing is 10% of your money that you currently have. So before you respec, make sure to spend all your money, or at least a lot of it, so that respeccing costs as little as possible. As the chaos level increases, the biggest stat that increases as well is the enemy HP, so damage is the most important. Definitely check out your skill trees to see what does the most amount of damage, and just try to max those out. Also, while you're respeccing, you do have the option to only respec skills, only respec hero points, or respec both. All of these options do cost the same amount, so if you are trying to redo a whole build, just respec both just in case. The last thing I want to mention is that another way to get really good gear is to check the vending machines. The vending machine inventory does reset, I believe every 15 minutes, but it does have the possibility as you increase your chaos rank to actually spawn some legendary items. Now these legendary items do cost a bunch of money to buy. A couple of items that I was really interested in costed around 4 million coin, which I definitely did not have at the time. So one thing I do recommend is saving up your money. Of course, after you've upgraded your bag space, your bank space, and a couple of ammo slots that you use frequently, and then just saving up just in case there is a piece of gear in the vending machines that you really like, just so you can pick it up. Now one thing that I found out is if you do see a legendary item in one of the vending machines, then all vending machines will have legendary items. And this applies not only to the vending machines in the chaos chamber area, but to all vending machines in all areas. So if you do have the money and you really need a piece of gear, you can basically travel to all areas and see if they do have the gear that you need. Of course, this is kind of tedious and is not specific to a singular gear slot, just like the end of the chaos chamber. So it's really up to you if you want to be traveling to all different places just to find a specific piece of gear. With that, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please drop a like, and definitely stay tuned for a bunch of endgame builds that we will be releasing soon. We're still grinding up to chaos level 20 and perfecting our builds, so definitely stay tuned. With that, I'll leave you guys with this gameplay and hope to catch you in the next one.
I've got all the magic I need. Not a chance.